just put something up real fast right off the gate?
Look at this. Look at that dumpster fire.
Like, what?
Yeah, yeah. 142,000 deported aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen people talk about this challenge online. I just really didn't think it would be White House fodder.
Right.
But our president did. And he said, I can make an analogy. Who's running the media?
We
Okay.
need to find.
We need to find them out. Like, we need to troll them. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, and I also just kind of want to know what it feels like to be Satan's mistress. We need to find out. This needs to be our new goal.
Okay, so let's
Sorry,
do it.
Shannon. She
We got,
leaves us alone
hey,
for a
we are
week.
left unsupervised. Two
This is what
Virgos in a
happens.
room. This is what happens. We're going to find out who did it. It has been a shit show this week.
Yeah, it has.
Look at that two-teether, literally. Okay, so Tom Homan is despicable. Despicable.
Mhm.
So you remember
Absolutely.
when I said someone had a slappable face?
Yeah.
I don't know who it was, but we have another person right here. Look at that.
We're just
He
gonna
already looks as
in
though he is
the
missing
list.
top and bottoms.
Yeah.
What's happening here? So they're going to start arresting Democratic mayors and governors.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that doesn't scream authoritarianism.
Absolutely. But you know what? They're doing it because they can get away with it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
when are
I
we
mean,
going to nut up and get this shit together?
I feel like, sorry, this is what's happening to me because it is so terrifying to watch because so many people out there are just like, it's another day. And it's like, no, this crazy ass shit is happening every day.
Mhm.
And it gets crazier and crazier. And how do we stop it?
There has to be something that can be done. What that is, I don't know. Do we go in the streets? Do we protest? I mean, martial law is a thing that we have to consider.
Yeah.
But what is our recourse? Because I keep hearing everyone, this is not America. This is not America. We're not going to let our country go to this, but slowly but surely. And I don't even know if
Yeah.
it's slowly. It's happening.
I mean, I want to
We're
stay and
moving
fight for
fast.
this country, but damn,
I know. Where do we need to move, LV?
I don't know. I mean, Canada did their job, so we technically could go there.
Will they take us?
I don't know. That
Canada,
is
if you're out here
debatable.
listening, would you take us?
Yeah. Denmark,
We're nice
maybe?
people.
I know, but we're, I mean, we're seeking asylum at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, but I don't know if you listened to the interview for the 100 Days. Terry Moran, I felt so bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
It was the clips that I've seen. I couldn't do it to myself,
No.
but the clips that I saw were horrendous. Terry Moran's face, he pulled like several Curious George looks. It's like a sundowning old man.
Yeah.
And he rambles on. He's rude because his memory is slipping from him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just was embarrassed, stood 10 toes down on the tattoos with that's 13, the Photoshop. And they were like, no, it's Photoshop. He did not listen. This is grandpa that needs to be, what's a medicine? What is that? Aricept?
Oh,
Maybe a little Namenda?
I have a feeling he needs a whole pharmacy.
Allegedly.
But that's,
By what I've seen, what other people are seeing that are nursing professionals that work in memory care and different things, that is a big concern. They said this is like definitely a red flag. And have they tested him for a UTI?
I mean, every time my mom would get one towards the end, yeah, she would go,
Was it a habitual UTI? This is
man,
normal.
this is going to get me arrested. If he's wearing diapers, I think that does happen often if he's not changed frequently enough.
Who is changing him? That is
I
the
don't
one
know, but
question. And does he raise his legs up like a toddler?
sweet.
So it's a visual of like a roach,
Why do I feel like we're going to El Salvador?
Can I take my husband with me?
Maybe Tim Walz can help. Did you hear about this? Let's just talk a little bit about Mike Waltz, because that was like huge news today, right? But apparently people would always confuse Tim Walz with Mike Waltz. And so good old Timmy boy decided to have a little fun this morning with Mike Waltz has left the chat.
1, 2, lick windows. Two teethers. That's who gets it confused. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so
But
Mike
I
Waltz,
was like, okay, Governor.
I like his
You
petty,
nailed it.
But Mike Waltz, so finally we're thinking that he is getting fired,
Hmm.
even though old Petey Boy is still there, but he just got moved to a different position.
Yeah.
And Marco, is Marco doing two jobs because he's now,
Marco has to do, which is completely unprecedented.
yeah. So is
Um,
he Secretary of State and
yes. Yep.
Security?
National
How?
Security Advisor. Yeah.
How? Do we feel like he's equipped? Because each time I see Marco and that sofa, it looks like he is trying to go down
Mm-mm.
deeper and deeper. So
Yeah.
I'm really trying to figure out, does he have the capacity to do this? Are we
Yeah.
putting a lot on Marco?
I don't. I.
And who said this was a good idea? Where's the adult?
I don't know. There are no adults,
Mhm.
and you've got to wonder if Marco is just sitting there going, "Oh my God, they just gave me more." Is he trying? Is Marco his like overall fall guy?
The flunky?
Yeah.
He might be. I did read that Susie Wiles has not been pleased with Mike Waltz for a while and wanted him gone, especially after the Signal chat fiasco. But guess what? He still hasn't gotten rid of that. I mean, yesterday during the cabinet meeting, he was spied on Signal again.
He really is a group chat liability, though. Like, if he
National
doesn't get,
security.
yeah, he needs to get booted out of all group chats.
So why is he still here? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
'Cause he's a white man. And he's a puppet.
So what else has happened?
Apple. There's good old Apple.
Look at that. So I wonder how that's working for him.
I mean, none of this is going to work well because I don't know if the White House told them all, like, no, 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 don't worry. No one's going to believe.
No one's gonna know.
No
They'll
one's going to,
never
yeah,
know.
no, nobody's, girl, everybody's going to know.
Yeah.
And so now they're all just being like, shit.
So now the fallout comes. But did you not think about that when you donated to the inauguration? Like, what were you thinking when you did this?
I don't think that they thought he was going to actually,
Put the tariffs in place?
yeah. I think maybe they were dumb enough to believe that he was just going to threaten them.
I could see that because he talks out of both sides of his neck. Like,
Yeah.
he's not a truthful man. So I don't know what the promises were, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. And so now when the chickens have come home to roost, we see how it's going to impact the bottom line.
I think a lot of it is that they don't think they're going to be impacted. And then I think that there's also a chunk that are truly just dumb enough that they believe this whole 5 million D chess game bullshit.
This is wild business because we're talking about the impact of the tariffs, ports being empty. They're talking about shelves could be empty. And there is no regard for color. Like that impacts everyone. Everyone. It's an equal opportunity hunger game, right?
Yeah.
So here we are. And so how do you not see that this is a problem?
Well, I
People
mean,
are
I think that
calling
they're
this
about
out.
to because Temu is starting to show their tariff charges. I think it's going to get a little harder to spin this one. And I think that that's why they set up the lawn and they did all these other things. They've
Distraction.
been very active on their social media.
Another eventful
This
week in Washington. The activity
was
level
just
is off the
posted
charts. The
this
president
evening.
dialed in. He is executing his agenda at a lightning fast pace. Now, here's something we rarely see in American politics. President Trump is actually keeping his campaign promises, and he's doing them as quick.
That screams propaganda. It was like at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night.
Scary.
It went on for 3 minutes.
What do you think our former allies think of all of this?
I think they're going, my God, stay away. Like
Absolutely.
China is already calling for all of them to ice us out.
So this is going to happen. I don't know how long it's going to happen before an adult comes into the room.
Here we are with the toilet goblin.
Okay, so let me say this. Did you listen to this?
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
nothing angelic about it.
No.
It sounded like gremlins.
Yeah. Well,
And I noticed that the toilet goblin was sitting down
yeah,
like he
he's
was
hiding.
Jesus,
I
and
guess he's
people are
hiding.
singing, Amazing Grace to him. I have never heard Amazing Grace sound like that.
No.
It was, I'm sorry, LV, it was very unseasoned.
Well,
It was awful.
I wasn't the one singing, so I'm gonna. But
Is
yeah,
that Paula over there? Is Paula White over there?
pretty sure that was Paula White.
And
I
look at
just
Mike
needed to point out I
Johnson.
really liked this picture, A, because you actually couldn't really see him.
Yeah, we can see that hair though.
Yeah, but it gave me another. And then also the fact that Scott Turner thinks it was humbling to hear it sung that way.
So, Scott, what church did you grow up at? Did you go to a church? Because, Scott, you look like me. And I'm just gonna go on out and say it. I haven't heard it sound like that. And this is not to be offensive. What was offensive to me is that I want to be the Pope sitting down here with people singing
Yeah.
around him.
Yeah.
And
That
I'm
he's just
like,
joking about all this shit.
that wasn't a joke. That was
No.
not a joke. And if
Exactly.
someone would have taken it seriously, like I think Lindsey Graham was serious about it.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham was terrifying about it too.
Lady G.
God
Lady G said,
damn
hey,
it, Lady G.
here you go. And so it's out there and it's like, no, the Vatican had to come out and post the requirements. Do you know how pitiful that is? Well, the thing that counted him out is being of sound mind.
Wow. I mean, there were a lot of things that counted him out. Also,
That
the
was
fact that
number
he's not
one for me.
Catholic.
Not a heathen, allegedly.
I know a lot of you can't be on Twitter anymore, but Chris Murphy did a really amazing thread and he's doing some work. Like, he gets some hero bells because he is putting in some work on social media. He's putting in some work clearly on the floor of the Senate. So,
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe,
I don't know.
maybe. We're just, I'm going to keep hope alive and just say that evil does not prevail. You think you're winning for so long before you're taken down.
That's true.
So I just think they're trying to fast track so much because the end is near.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so corrupt. And if other countries are looking at this,
Well, I mean, clearly Canada took a look and was like,
yeah,
no.
we are not taking a
Yeah.
conservative candidate. So we are the blueprint for other countries of what not to do.
Sorry, world, we let you down.
Yeah.
We
But
didn't
you know
mean
what?
to.
I wonder, did this need to happen?
I think it did.
Because America has always set themselves here on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And
they
sometimes you have to
clearly
think about,
did.
is this a day of reckoning? That we needed to see it happen. And he is the person that unfortunately brought out the ugly in everyone. Donald Trump is not an anomaly. There are several Donald Trumps around. They just don't have a White House and Secret Service and different things. But this seems to be the fabric of America.
Yeah,
He
we're
did
not
get
on a
votes.
pedestal. We're on a pile of.
We are. But he has highlighted this. And so now it's time for us to see how pitiful we are. Look at our shit and say, let's get this shit together and change, or America will not be back. It's a sad thing that everybody has to endure. And here we are.
Here we are. The propaganda is getting really, really bad. It's getting really scary because it's so produced.
I mean, can we talk about something really, really quick?
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos and Amazon yesterday, how he folded like a chair.
Yeah. I was like, oh, good. He's going to. No, he's not.
And
Okay.
it wasn't even like a couple of hours. It was like 15 minutes. And he was like, oh, let me get it together, issue a statement.
Yeah.
Because Miss No Lip was up there having a tantrum.
Well, I mean, it does seem like she has these faux tantrums
Daily.
daily.
Is she coping with this? Is what I wonder. What is her home life like? Does she separate? Does she turn off? Because she does have a little one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
he's
just
little
don't-
one in
I think-
age, but
I think we're basically dealing with like Rosemary's Baby when it comes to that little.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
allegedly he's 72. Can you imagine being in that job?
I wouldn't take that job
No,
with him. I mean, I wouldn't take that job ever because I feel like that's
high
just.
stress.
Yeah.
And you have to be own, and her own is having a tantrum if she doesn't get what she wants. And so that is now the MAGA way. Have you noticed it's like a trend? It's not the news you want to hear. We just have a fit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't wait to make one though of these for her and have it say fired.
Do you think she'll?
Or quit.
How much
I
longer?
don't care. I'm just gonna say, you know what? They want to make these goddamn signs. We'll start making our own.
Do we
Every
line them
time
up
one of them
outside?
has something. I
We-
can't put them outside. My HOA will come after me. But
They need to be
can-
on state capitals, like just
we
to
can
embarrass
post them.
them.
Just all over
online on TikTok. There are protests this weekend. So if you have it in your heart to protest, go protest, be safe, don't do anything stupid. Martial law is something that he is waiting to put into play.
Please keep that
But
in mind.
yeah, so do what we need to do.
And we still have the link for Hands Off because they are seeming to be organizing as many as possible. So always check out there.
Have you noticed the difference in these protests versus January 6th? Who would ever
What do you
think,
know?
huh? Decorum.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, let's just keep fighting the good fight. We'll be here as long as there's a fight to be fought. And I think we're in it for the long haul.
Well, and guys, we will see you on Tuesday. Remember to stay loud, stay opinionated, and as always,
At me later.
That's a wrap on this episode of At Me Later. We drop new bite-sized episodes packed with news and sass every Tuesday and Friday. So make sure you're following us wherever you get your podcasts. And because we love validation, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review, and drop a comment to let us know what you think. It helps us more than you know. At Me Later is an A Collective production, and we'll be back in your ears soon. But until then, stay loud, stay opinionated, and as always, at us later. And it's fine.
And there we go.
We got some slides. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Look at that.
I mean, he's gonna kind of get deported too.
Deported to a new role.
Yeah.
Of excellence.
Yeah.
I like this.
But I tried to make it as close to their signs as humanly possible.
It is.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Thanks. Remember to stay loud, stay opinionated, and as always,
At me later.
crushed it.
Wait.